text one of them. One thing, if anybody knows me, I am a competitive person. I I am very competitive. So I pass that along to my clients. I encourage a little bit of competition, right? So as a trainer, I have always done like a basic evaluation, right? Just so, we can keep coming back to it to be able to see, your progress. Well, today, one of my clients who just turned 62 last month, also just retired officially. She is officially 1 week retired today, right? So I got a shout out to, look, not only Tees for getting her that wanna go fit retirement shirt, right? That's what's up. So I said to her, hey, now we hadn't evaled her in a little bit because she had her back had she had been having some issues. So we took a break, from that. We still worked out, but took a break from that because it can be intensive, right? So she when she came today, I said, all right, we're evaluating today. That's what we're doing. You are officially retired. Come on, let's jump in there. So she did, and so forth. We're doing her measurements or something or whatever. But let me tell you. So I said, hey, my one of my clients just mentioned you, and because she I said something about the plank, and I said, yeah, she just mentioned you. She said that you were her biggest competition. She said, well, she never beat my 11 minutes, did she? I said, well, actually, she did.
Oh.
I said, but that wasn't her last time. I said, her last time was 5 minutes and 32 seconds because her shoulder was hurting her. She said, okay. I said, well, what are you starting with? And your evaluation, I do your measurements and everything. And the exercises that you do, you can choose the order. It doesn't matter, right? So she said, oh, I'm starting with the plank. I said, okay. So look. So she gets in there or whatever, and she going real easy. And she didn't ask what was the time for a time check until maybe like 3.5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So I said, we were talking, and she said, she was starting to go down. I was like, you literally, I said, have about 30 seconds pass. I said, and you were beat had her time, and she did. She did.
Oh.
She went 5 seconds past. So the client that was talking about her, her time was 5:32, and she was 5:37.
Oh.
So she said, because when I was like, my goodness. I said, look at this. I said, I just love this competition. I said, look at you, retired and fired up. She said, oh yeah, tell her it's on. I love it. I love it. Like I said, honestly and truly, Ron, entrepreneurship is a beast, right?
Yeah.
However, doing something that you love and with people that you truly enjoy, but also just getting to see the progress and just the strides that people make. It's awesome, man. I love it. This competition thing, I'm gonna have to put the board back out. 2026. If you come and you train with Wanna Go Fit and Coach K, you're up on the board. We doing run times. I used to do run times because she just ran her mile in 20 minutes and 26 seconds. Come on, son. I said, oh, Miss Stephanie, I gotta go. I said, I gotta jump on the line. She sped up and
Oh.
finished. She literally was like, I said, oh, she had like maybe, I don't know, like a little, maybe a quarter or so forth to go. She sped up, booked it, 62. So, moral of the story, I don't want no excuses.
See, I knew that was coming.
Just saying. Just saying. Fantastic. I love it.
Yeah, and
But
me,
anyway, how you doing, Ron? You
I'm doing.
good?
I like you. I just love me some Coach K. Because I was telling everybody about you. I said, when Coach K enter a building, you going to know that she's here. And then I went like this. I said, she may be about this tall, but let me tell you something. She holds her own. She walks to a building, and she look at me. Where the mic at? I said, girl, you ain't getting no mic.
You know, I was up at this is before y'all started. Or maybe no, it was a Saturday. My girlfriend and I were up there and they had like another DJ there. I know you usually there on Saturdays, I think. But she had somebody else was there and they was some type of I guess get together, company get together, and they just mere mentioned the fact that it was a mic for maybe karaoke and I was like, really?
Oh,
Oh yeah, man. Let me tell you, I had it. I had it kicking in there. You know, we was line dancing and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may have just been me and my girlfriend, but so what?
well, the first time when Coach K came out, I was at Ball Hogs and
Mm-hmm.
doing karaoke. She
Ooh,
came out, and all they remember was that lady in the yellow. She wore a yellow outfit, and when she first sang, everybody dropped the mic. If they had one, they turn around and look, say, "Who is that?" I said, "That's my girl. That's
yeah.
my girl. That's Coach K. I know her." And we had a good time that day.
That was fun.
And
That was
I
fun.
tell you, Coach K brings a lot of energy. If y'all don't know that, she brings a lot of energy. You don't know when she's down in the dumps because I think she keeps that behind her, and
I
then
do.
then when she gets home, she cuss out the wall, the ceiling, the dog, and everybody else. But as of being professional, she is what I look to. What professionalism is. She brings it
Oh,
to the
thank
table. She brings it to the table, and I really mean that from watching you all this time, and you always got a positive attitude or a positive spin on what's going on.
Well, you know, it's funny you said that because today, I actually, that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, we are about to do our brain health fair on Saturday, right? So, and that's what I wanted to talk about. Just leading into it is that mindset, that positive mindset. I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm always talking about, you know, your eating habits and making sure that you get up and you exercise and so forth, which please know that exercise does increase your happy endorphins. So you usually are in a better mood when you exercise. And when you eat like crap, you feel
Right.
like crap. Just saying. Can't
Yeah.
we can't go without saying that. However, um your mindset, you know, how you talk to yourself. That is so important. And, you know, people may say, like you said, you know, well, you know, that's not your job or so forth. Yes, it is. My job is to make sure that I am in a positive mindset, that
Yeah.
I have what I need to help you, right?
Right.
I talked about, you know, self care last time, and I said exercise is self care, so forth is self care, all of those things. However, it's a mindset thing. And, you know, I don't know if everybody has been affected in recent, but I know I have. And, you know, I think about maybe a year or so ago where maybe I wouldn't be in such a positive place. However, I have practiced it for now repeatedly. I have consistently watched how I talk to myself,
Mm-hmm.
watch what I put out in the universe, and just like you said, now just being honest, yes, sometimes I am kicking and cussing and so forth or whatever. I am. Yeah, I am. I was doing so talking about the All-Star, the changes in the All-Star game last night. I know if anybody heard me outside, they'd be like, what? I was going off. But, you know, basketball fans, sorry. But, so I do. I feel like we have to allow ourselves to have a moment, allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, and express it, hopefully not in a negative manner or so forth, meaning nobody, like you said, you can yell at the wall. Try not to yell at the dog or kick the dog, you know what I'm saying? The kids may get on your nerves and so forth, and you really want to be like, sit down, shut up. Just be like, hey man, why don't y'all go play a game? You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But the
Yeah,
thing is, you have to allow yourself to have that moment. And that is part of being positive as well. You know, that's part of that mindset. Not everybody should know when you're having a bad day.
that's right. I have my bad days. Matter of fact, let me share something with you. I'm gonna pat my own self on the back on this one. Everybody out there know I'm a type 2 diabetic, and
That's
I'm,
right.
I'm making sure everything is right. For the past 3.5 months, checking my sugar level, I have been under 120,
Good.
and the doctor said I should be between 90 and 110. So I looked at the doctor and I asked him a question. I said, "So, are you going by what the average is? Because I need to know, are you going somebody that weighs 125 pounds or somebody that weighs 200 pounds?" The doctor looked at me and said, "I never been asked that question." I said, "Because my sugar level going to fluctuate because of my height and my weight. I'm not the
Mm-hmm.
norm." See,
Mm-hmm.
they get the norm all together. We'll get everything together, and this should be the average sugar count for everybody. I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Doc, it doesn't work like that." So
Mm-hmm.
I get to go see the doctor again November 20th, and I have to chart everything down. So I got everything charted down. I'm gonna bring it to him, and between the time I seen him and going on 20th, he better have an answer for me because I put it out there. I said because that everybody's got this body mass and all that, what the average
Mhm.
is. But I don't think people take in consideration your height,
That's right.
your color, your skin.
That's
All,
right.
all that goes into play. So we're
Mm-hmm.
getting we're getting the average that everybody says that what American could be, and it's not like that. I'm the type of person I'll fight the system if I'm right. I'm
Well, I mean, honestly, I think it's really just you advocating for yourself. Something that I've learned while doing these series is to advocate for your health. A lot of times we take what the doctor says because they are the professional, right? It's like, man, all right, well, you went to school for this. Obviously, you know what you're speaking of. Now, one of the things I think I what always made me, I guess, buck the system was the BMI charts and the weight chart. And the reason that I feel like it made me, I bucked that system was because I did see people who are of all shapes and so forth or whatever, but they weren't necessarily what you would consider uh, um, at their weight that they're supposed to be, but they are at a good weight for them. They're healthy for them. It works for them. I've always had my children were always like kind of off the charts. Like my grandson, he's not off the charts in weights. He's a type, but there's always the charts.
yeah.
And you can't always go by the chart. You just can't. I saw that for myself when I got down to what they said I was supposed to weigh for my weight. I mean, for my height. I look like a crackhead. I'm serious.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm serious. I'm serious. I did. I was so thin, and just being honest, in the last, I'll say, year, I've decided that, because I had a certain weight that I like to stay in, as we all should, and I play, I give myself 5 pounds, to play with just in case, I, want to be drop five to be super fly, or, if I'm up here living it up and eating like I don't have no sense, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that 5 pounds, within that. But in the last year, my weight that I want to be has gone up. And not necessarily just because it's like, oh, I've gained weight. It's I'm getting older, and as we get older, like you said, your hormones and things, and I'm shaping different. So I see that, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I like this 5 pounds. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I know that if I go too far, oh, that's not going to be cute. But by the standards of the chart, I'm overweight.
Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
But it's their standards.
It's their
It's
standards.
their standards on what we should be, and
Mm-hmm.
we got to turn around and start rebuking some of that stuff because they want us. Like for instance, let's just put it out there. For instance, they got the average woman being this twiggy. I'm gonna say it, and they say that's average, and it's not. And
Mm-hmm.
some of these ladies are going out breaking their necks to get down to that size because society says this is the size you should be. And we
Well,
listen to that.
the average. I mean, now I don't feel like it's changed in recent. The average size woman, actually, they had said was like a size 12. Like, so that's not thin, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's pretty. Now, depending on the culture, like you said, and what, where you are, that may be different, but now, no, the average woman or so forth, if you look at now, they they have all this extra butt and everything now. That's what they want the average woman to be like, itty bitty waist,
Mm-hmm.
and it's, yeah, and no, it's not,
But
it's not,
even the
it's not.
fashion models have changed from the '70s to now because you're supposed to be this thin person walking down the runway, but you got healthy people out there that look good too. So, and I am glad they turned around and got the
Right?
plus size
Yeah.
and the other average size modeling getting
Mm-hmm.
out there because
Mm-hmm.
we was in our head this and let's face it guys, all y'all not gonna get that fashion model because they
Mm-mm.
got standards too. They don't want you. I'm just gonna say that. But if you get out there
That's right.
and if you go for the real woman that's out there, to me, it doesn't make a difference what size she is. It's who you like and who she like.
That's right.
And don't let society put in your head you gotta have this to be all right. No, you do not.
Well, I mean, I wanna piggyback to what you said as far as the type of woman, that you're not going to get, like you said, always get this supermodel and so forth. Well, especially, sir, if you're no model yourself, stop it. I can't stand. Now I'm about to get on a high horse here.
All
I
right, here we go. Here
can't
we go.
stand these guys out here. Now I don't. I'm just saying. Because they put it out there. You put it out there for me to see, for me to read, for me to whatever. So if I see it, just say it. Uh, wanting a model-ish type, and even if it's not necessarily a thin, but they wanted to be, what I'm saying, fit and this and all of that, and you are not that, sir. You are not. So please, 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 like you said, and even If you know you struggle with some areas yourself that you are working on or so forth, don't you go out there judging somebody else.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. That's not cool. I see when I see that, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, dude, you're like 300 pounds. Shut up. Like, stop. And I'm
That
not saying 300 pounds like, hey, you look like you can carry 300 pounds. I'm saying, no, you should drop some of it off.
yeah.
But, anyways, so
But
yes, I
but
do agree.
then piggyback off that, this is one thing. There was a study out a while back. Some of the models, men and women, who stays that shape and stays that size like that, behind the scenes, once the runway, they are some of the saddest people out there because
Yeah.
they have nobody because they too busy worry about this. They don't have time for it, and they lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why this time of year it all comes out. People are lonely and they're
Mm-hmm.
depressed. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
how cute you are. And when they
Mm-hmm.
find out that you like this, and I'm gonna bring this up right now. I'm gonna say it. Don't beat me up, Coach K. So when a man or woman finds somebody that they're with, you're talking about the opposite attract, then somebody sit down and say, how you dating that ugly person? He's so ugly. Well, he's the one that stepped up to the plate and started talking to you about the rest of them. Because I'm gonna tell you from a man's point of view. In my eyes, you see somebody cute, you think they're taken already.
Mm.
You don't even bother to even try,
Mm.
and they're not taken. So when I was younger, I talked to all the cute ones. They said, well, "How you get with her?" I said, "Cause I talked to her."
Yeah. Now you know what, Ron? That is definitely that's something that people don't do anymore. I like you said, I do believe in meeting people organically. I definitely like I told one of my clients. I'm gonna tell you, teach her a new word. And so she taught it to me, and she said, well, it's getting the time of year. She said, you got to watch out for the hobosexuals. I said, the hobosexuals? She said, yeah, the homeless ones that want to come and move in with you. And I was like, oh my goodness. So then she talked about she was going to try on the online date, and I said, girl, did you just tell me it's homosexual season? Don't you be out there. I say you gonna catch you some one or two of them guys out there gonna be trying to move in. Just
Mm-hmm.
but I laugh. I definitely I laugh at that. But I do. Like you said, I the online thing and so forth or whatever. If that's how it works for you, then cool. But I do think that it takes men are already afraid of rejection. I think women are too. I'm not usually, if I'm, when I was out there and shoot my shot, I would shoot my shot. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. But I do understand that not everybody is, forthcoming and so forth to,
Right.
start conversation, and things. But I do think that it's a good way to start. And, and then going back to like what we were saying about maybe you do, have like someone who, is, not necessarily model type, but, maybe a little bit more fit or so forth than you are, and maybe you do want to, my friend, he when we first started talking, I mean, honey had a belly. He had a belly, and that's not really there like that anymore. Definitely. I think that, like you said, when you mindset, going back to that,
Yeah.
like I said, I was talking about positive mindset, but and just with sharing my mindset on eating, and the way that, like you said, I look at certain things or so forth.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see that it rubbed off on him, and vice versa. The positivity or so forth or whatever. I definitely feel like you pick up different things from people. You learn lessons, right? You look and you say, man, look at what that person went through. I didn't even know they was going through it, and they were, smiling and so forth the
Mm-hmm.
whole time. Never knew, and that's just really how I look at it now. It's like, I can choose to have a bad day, or
Yeah.
I can choose to say, man, this is a character building day.
That
It's
right
all in
there.
how you say it.
Yeah.
I have not, I legit, I don't think that I've said I've had a bad day in maybe 2 years.
Mm.
Like, and maybe, I'm sorry. No, no. Because even I'm thinking this has been a year. Oh my
Oh.
gosh, this has been a year. Full of character building moments.
Yes. You
Full of and I will say that I appreciate them. I appreciate.
speak about character building moments. Um, I think this is the time of season for everybody to get your character together with all this food that's coming out. You got Thanksgiving, you got Christmas, you got people talking about my New Year's resolution. Well, my firm belief: do your New Year resolution right now. Don't wait till New Year's. Do it now. So
Mm-hmm.
when you go into the new season, you won't spend that $5,000 for a gym that you go twice and won't go back again. You
Right.
know, I think character has a lot to do with that. You got to be mindful what's going out there, what you're going to eat this year. I am so mindful when I go out and eat. My wife said, "Let's go out and get lunch," and that was yesterday. I said, "Okay," and I picked something nice, lean to eat. She said, "Is that all you're going to eat?" I said, "Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm going to eat." And I'll do that. And she said some one time, if I knew that, we never would have went out. And I said, I'd have cooked something at home nice and lean. It make a difference. But I've been watching myself more often. Oh, by the way, everybody, I am down to 201.
Woo! Check you
So,
out.
I'm down to that by just watching what I'm doing. And I eat them veggies like Coach Say always do. And I found my asparagus.
That's what's up. I thought about you. I had purchased some last week, and speaking of, like you said, the vegetables, it's a mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's totally a mindset. I am in week 3. I didn't post. Been busy. I didn't post. But week 3 of all veggie Mondays, and it has been going well. And some and here and that's the thing. Like you said, when you talk about mindset,
Mm-hmm.
it applies across the board, right? So by making the choice, because mindset is a choice. It's what you choose to believe, what you choose to tell yourself.
Yep.
It's a choice. So I made a choice to say, you know, I'm going to call myself out on my BS. I'm not eating enough vegetables. I got to get on it. I also said that about my water. I felt like my water intake had went down. So I
Right.
was like, I got to get back on it, right? I can honestly say, by choosing to eat all vegetables. Now, on Monday, remember my concessions are pecans and eggs. My
Yeah.
only concessions, right? That's the only thing I'm eating. And on Monday, this past Monday, um, it was easier because I I'm now in the mindset of Veggie Mondays is coming. I gotta make sure I have enough vegetables to get through Veggie Mondays.
Yeah.
I'm actually having more vegetables, and it's exactly what I wanted it to do. I am back up to eating my vegetables at least, like I said, because it was getting to where sometimes, some days I look up, I'm like, I don't think I had a vegetable today.
Ooh.
So it has gone from that to a minimum of two and at a maximum of five. So, and from going, just making that mind, that shift in my mindset to say, no, because in my mind, and I'm a keep it 100. Like you said, if you know me, then you really know me. You know I like to eat, and you
Mm.
know I like meat. So please know, I had honestly, Ron, I had bacon over the weekend. I can't have no more bacon until maybe next couple weeks or something.
I
I
was,
don't need no more
I was gonna
bacon.
say 2027.
Nah, that ain't. We ain't gonna make it. We ain't gonna make it. And
Yeah.
just being honest, I still got some bacon bits that I just saying. But like you said, just by making that shift in my mindset, by
Yeah.
saying that I am and changing the way I thought about it, because my thought process is I like meat. In order to, like you said, if I'm gonna have a meal, now I don't mind. I would snack on the vegetables as snacks and so forth, whatever.
Hmm.
But in my mind, when I'm having a meal, it includes meat. And I had to change my mindset on that.
Yeah.
So week 3, here I am in the Veggie Mondays, and I can honestly say, mm, every from last week, I think I had veggies for and full veggies, meaning like I had kale, broccoli, not kale, cauliflower, and sweet potatoes
Mm.
for breakfast, like twice. I
Yeah.
know. Um, I've had cauliflower casserole for breakfast, like I don't know, like 3 or 4 times. So
Mm.
it has spilled over into. So even though I may still be eating meat, my vegetable intake has gone up. And let me tell you, I can tell a difference already. And this is just from, like I said, I'm still eating red meat and stuff. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm not, however, I have noticed again, maybe kind of a more energy, honestly.
Yeah.
I felt like I was, just tired a lot. And just by, making this shift to do all veggies on Monday, it's kind of like a reset for my system. And because I continue it on, I mean, it's been great. So I encourage anybody, like I said, you watch how things change when you start looking at things differently.
Yeah.
You know, I now look at it as, man, I get to do these veggie Mondays. I get to reset my system. I get to eat veggies all day long. And it's made quite a difference. Same thing, like you said, just when we began and we were talking about, like you said, you mentioned my positive attitude. It's I had to learn that I had to extend that into other areas.
Yeah.
That's basically what I did with the Mondays. I took a positive spin on it, and here we are.
And there you are. You know, two things. First one, I'm gonna let you know by the end of this month, I am making some homemade oatmeal raisin cookies, and I'll make sure I have some for you. Yes,
Right.
because every time I say, the coach said, "Wait a minute, I like that too."
Every time. I
But
haven't gotten one yet, and I've known you for years.
you're
This
gonna
is
get it.
BS.
Yeah, but you're gonna get it. And of course, I'm in that sweet potato pie contest at a Chicago Bite, and people bragging on how Dr. Cross gonna win. I said, shh, no, I'm gonna win. And Dr. Cross was funny. He said, "I got my grandma recipe." He said, "I got my grandma recipe."
I'm hoping that I'm not going to be too tired after my event, so that way, because I want to be in on
Yeah,
that.
and the third thing is, I can't figure it out. But this time of year, I'm always in the mood for tangerines.
Mm,
I don't know why. I can't.
mm,
Some fruit I can't eat because the acid doctor told me I gotta cook
yeah.
my fruit. But now, lately I've been tolerating some stuff and then tangerines. Oh, I eat like if you sit me a bag of tangerines down there, give me an hour, half that bag be gone. But I got to eat in moderation. But
I
it's
was about to say,
yeah,
watch that with your
yeah,
sugar. You gotta watch
yeah.
that.
But I may eat one every other day or something during the holiday season. My wife will buy a bag for the grandkids and stuff. I may eat one or two the holiday season. Just it's that tangerines and believe it or not, walnuts. Why get in the
Well,
mood for that?
that's a holiday time. I don't. So when I was a kid, one thing, it's funny. I talked to my mom and my grandmother yesterday, and my grandma said, "Like you decorating?" I said, "Oh yeah." My mom. Now she doesn't do it as much now, but my mom used to decorate. And one thing I remember was a staple that would be laying around were walnuts with the
Mm,
shell with the cracker,
yep.
right? And tangerines, oranges. They were always around.
Mm-hmm.
With and then peppermint and my mom liked chocolate, so like always some. But all once it like fall hit and Christmas season, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's just a staple. You're probably did you have that as a kid?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sure
That's what
did.
it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. It's
Because
just
yeah.
coming back to
See,
you.
see, we didn't have pecan trees like down here. We had
Mm.
walnut trees up there,
Yeah,
and our
yeah.
schoolyard had this great big walnut tree. Man, I couldn't wait. I was right there getting them bad boys, and that's what it was. We grew up like that, and to this day, I still get a craving for it around this time of year. It's something around this time of year, especially since it got cool outside.
Yeah,
It makes
yeah,
you want to go ahead and get in the festive mood.
yeah. Well, man, I am burnt out on the walnuts. I mean, I'm one of those people. I don't have no middle. I'm all in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no middle ground with me. You get everything or nothing with me. And I did that with almonds. But I think with almonds, I stopped eating almonds because I realized it didn't agree with me.
Ooh.
I realized that they I didn't I can't remember what was wrong or what I felt or something, but I had stopped eating them. But then I went extra heavy on walnuts for years. For
Mm-hmm.
years. Whenever somebody would get in my car, they knew I had some walnuts in there because in case I get hungry. Remember, I don't want to stop through no drive through or nothing if I can help it. So I
Yeah.
always have a little snack, right? I keep them with me. But now I'm on to, as Pop said, I say pecans, but now I'm trying to because I'm in the South say pecans.
Pecans.
So
Yes.
I have pecans now.
And not jalapenos. It's jalapenos.
Right. Well, first of all, I've never said no daggone
Yeah.
jalapeno. That's
When I
crazy.
heard that, my brother said that. I said, "What's wrong?" I said, "Go back home to Chicago. You're not allowed down there to talk like that. Bye."
Jalapenos. Did people really say that?
Yeah,
Wow.
you go up north, them Yankees can't say jalapenos, jalapenos,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
they learn how to break it down. When I was growing up, they taught us how to break things down to pronounce a word,
Yeah.
and Texas blew that out of the water. There's nothing down there that
Yeah.
looks like that first letter. Like for instance, phone. You think it's spelled with an F, you know? So
Yeah. 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 I
but
have a dictionary actually over there, and it's um commonly misspelled words. So like phone is in there under F with the
yep.
correct spelling. And you're right, now me, it's funny, we were talking about this last night. I'm the type of person, my mom didn't allow slang. When I got in trouble, the only place I could go was the library, and I was in trouble a lot, so I was always at the library. And
Ooh, boy.
so I love to read. And then I had a friend, and her and her mom, they played Scrabble, and I met her. I was like in the seventh grade, and ever since then, that is not. I mean, spades and Scrabbles, two of my favorites. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I was bouncing them off the table. You know what I'm saying? A couple weeks ago. Just saying, bring your A game, not your B game with me.
Yeah.
Just saying.
All
I
right.
got it. I got my partners. I stay ready. I got a partner. I got a backup. I got alternates.
This girl is real.
I'm so serious. I'm so serious. But I'm so serious. But yes, and the other one though is Scrabble. And like I said, I do appreciate the English language and so forth. And I play Scrabble, not on look, and I ain't talking about on my phone. I'm talking about a board.
Bored.
I play both.
Yes.
Yeah, I play,
Yeah.
and it's just like you said, a lot of things that the way we spell things, it's we take some of our language from so many different other places. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? In different languages. Remember, you know, nobody is really from here except for
Yeah.
the Indians, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all came from different parts, and we are a melting pot. And our language and the spellings and so forth, whatever, I mean, if you into that, it's really interesting. So obviously, I just let y'all know that I'm a cool nerd. Notice I still say cool because I'm so cool.
I'm gonna leave that one alone because I've been called a nerd by several people. They said, "But you're a cool nerd." I said, "What the hell is a cool nerd?"
Mhm.
My
Mhm.
wife will call me up and say, "Baby, I need to have this calendar that interacts that every day that goes by it changes and all that stuff." And I don't know how to do it, so I break out my Excel and I send her the spreadsheet and everything done. And she tells me she come home for it. Oh, my nerd husband did that for me. So you gonna tell your coworkers I'm a nerd too?
That's all right. Listen, I'd rather be called a nerd than a dummy.
That point, because
Shoot,
there is no dumb nerd.
that part. That part.
and people who
And the
and people
only
who
reason I say cool is because nerds are, sometimes they're usually introverts, they're
mm,
scared to, whatever. Yeah, that's not me.
yeah,
I,
me neither. I get out there and act with them and all that. So when it comes down to doing, it's surprising that when I do something, somebody look at me like they're shocked. You know how to do that? I said, so what vision do you see of me?
Mhm.
What vision do you see when
Well,
I do?
I think I, we get caught up in the perception that we know of people in us in an environment that we only see them in.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been in a situation where a friend of mine, we were she when she met me, she met me. I'm out here riding motorcycles, more party,
Yeah.
more whatever, right? So we were talking. She, had a little too much drink and spent the night. And we were talking the next day. And she said, I didn't know you were smart. I'm not going to tell you the way that she really said it.
Okay.
However, I wasn't offended. And I wasn't offended because, again, when people meet you in a certain environment, and that's why I always say, if you know me, then you know me.
Yeah.
If you know me, then you know me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you know that, and it's not about having different faces or so forth. It's like, hey, I need to refill my tank. I'm not feeling, feeling like I'm able to contribute anything positive to the situation that I'm in right now, or whatever, and I keep it to myself. I get myself back together, and then I come back with my best self, right? You
Yeah.
know, you have to, people are, when they're used to you in only one situation, only one environment,
Right.
they will assume that that's just like people. Because again, look at what I do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, "Oh, well, you eat that? What?" Now, it's a lot of things I don't eat. So
Yeah.
I guess, like, if you're around me and we're eating, like, meat and chicken, I told you, that's not my jam. If I'm
Right.
hungry and it's there, I'm gonna eat it.
Yes.
However, no, fried chicken not necessarily my jam. It's not something I really like that.
You know
You
when you,
know, I I can't think of I was It's a lot of stuff that I think that people like that I really don't like.
yeah.
But I also, again, I'm trying to get down to Jay's Eatery because it's time for me to have a smothered pork chop. I haven't
Yeah.
had Judy's pork chop since April. It's time.
Oh, it's time. You know, when you was talking about that, when people don't know, I was with a friend of mine, and her laptop was messing up, and she said my laptop messed up, but my other friend is coming down next week, and he's gonna take a look at it. I said, can I look at it? She said, what you know about that? So I looked at it and found the problem, fixed it, did all that. So I said, I didn't know you could do that. I said, well, I don't say what I could do, but I fixed it. And then I told her, well, to be honest with you, I have 10 Microsoft certifications. She looked at me and said, what? You? I thought you was just a DJ. And I looked at her. I said, "Well, I thought with you was just so and so." She and she said, "Are you insulting me?" I said, "The best way I can." And so, but when people see things like that, they don't realize what you could do because you probably like me. I don't tell nobody what I could do. But if a situation comes up and something needs to be done, yes, I could take care of it. And then it
I'm
be
gonna figure it
shocked.
out.
They
Yeah,
be shocked. Just like right
yeah.
now. Here I am. This young lady said to me, "You better have me some oatmeal raisin cookies too." It's things like that, and my wife will tell you, I get up 4 o'clock in the morning. I did it several times. She went back and told her coworkers, "I don't know what's wrong with that man. He gets up 4 o'clock in the morning. He's baking. All I smell is cookies. He's baking." And then she tell me nobody gonna eat all of that. In about 4 days, she bringing some to her job. I said, no, no, I'm not feeding your job. Them cookies stay here. But it's
Right.
things like that that you do that catch everybody off guard. Like when you started singing, I didn't know Coach K could sing, but she came out there and started singing. But let me tell you a little short story that caught Coach K off guard. We was doing karaoke, and our friend Veronica, her
Woo.
and her husband, they came up there and sang. You should have seen the look on Coach K's face. It
I
was
didn't know she could sing.
priceless.
I did not know that she could sing. That I when I was, because when we be talking, like, when she's here, and she would be, talking about, yeah, they want me to sing, and I just brushing it off because, just being honest, I'm not easily impressed by a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's not nothing, no, you know what I'm saying, but I'm just not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's what's up, you know what I'm saying? Just and that's really all I thought about it. Oh,
Mm.
that's what's up. And when I heard her, I was like, oh, she can sing. Like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
she does this. Got it, man. Oh, if I could sing like that, just being honest, y'all. I mean, I love don't. I love what I do. I love being Coach K, but baby, would I be an entertainer, baby? Yes, I would. Y'all, oh my goodness, Ron. I saw this video of this woman. She was doing karaoke and she was singing oh, I cannot remember what it was, that song. But when I tell you she was in there, and man, she was all I said, I mean, I looked at that video, I said, oh, I gotta step my game up. I said, her moves
Mm.
is tight. She had the chair, she was I said, okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
So uh-huh. Look, I really, really wanted to go to karaoke a couple weeks ago and I missed it. That's how, and then I ended up, like I said, just singing up at Crystal Spot up there in Chicago
Yeah.
by on a rim, just on a whim, right? But I definitely will say I do enjoy karaoke. So I was thinking, holiday time is coming, Ron. Look. We should do a Christmas theme up there one Sunday.
Well, you know what I'm thinking? I'm there on Saturdays. I already talked to
Okay.
Dr. Cross about it. I said after my show at 2 o'clock, then maybe we could do karaoke either starting at 3 or 4 until she closed at 8. Do like 3 hours right there and just go right into karaoke. She said,
Mm-hmm.
no, she said, I'm good with it.
I think it'll be cool. Like, I mean, like you said, I personally, I do. I think that people are, and that is part of, I think the change of my mindset and my attitude, recently. Now I'm not afraid to just be me and do what I like to do. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what you like to do. It doesn't. If you don't like it, then that's you. However, this is what I like to do.
right.
And, I have been doing more of that. And I like karaoke. So
Yeah, I know you do.
that,
I know you do.
I do.
But
I like
I'll be
karaoke.
honest
I
about.
like line dancing.
Yep.
I love it.
Every once in a while, I'll get up there and build out a tune or two. Every
Yeah.
once in a while, I'll do that. I want to get back to something because it just hit my memory when you was talking about Scrabble. Um,
Love Scrabble.
my mom claimed she was a Scrabble queen,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple of times I took her out. She did not like that. So I'm down
Mm-hmm.
here, and we were playing Scrabble with a bunch of people down there because people could challenge you with the word. They
Yeah.
challenge you. So I spelled Ithaca. And that's no
Yes,
such thing. I said
yes, it
Ithaca, New
is.
York.
Yes, it is.
That
No.
is a play. And they challenged me. And then when I did that, they looked it up. It was a true thing. Well, we don't allow brainiacs to play Scrabble. What? So I came up with a word that you didn't know about. And another word I came up with, we was playing another game. What was it? I forget what game it was. And they was doing this. It said pool hall, pool shark. And I said billiards. And they
Mm-hmm.
looked at me and it was right. It was billiard. How do you know about that? Well, up north, we don't call them pool halls. It was
Mm-hmm.
always billiards.
Billiards. Yeah.
And people look at you. So it really matters of what part of the country you grew up in because you know something that nobody else know.
Well, yeah, like you said, it's just a matter of people speaking the same language.
Yeah.
That's all, right? It's so funny. So I laugh because I say I'm a Southern Northerner, right? You know, Pops calls me. He said I like you, Coach, even though you're a Yankee, right?
Wow.
Whatever.
Okay.
I, we have that's again. He's 70 something years old. You gotta, he about 80, about to turn 80. So
Yeah.
you good, But anyways, I told him. I said, my grandmother. So my mom's side of the family is from up north, Connecticut, that type
Mm.
area right up there, right? So I kind of grew up with lot of, I guess, northern ways, right? But my father's mother was from North Carolina. Darlington is North Carolina or South Carolina? Darlington is, I don't know, South Carolina, I believe. But so she did not play that walking into a room, not speaking,
Oh,
not saying good morning, uh, uh,
yeah.
just jumping in a conversation without saying, how you doing, so forth. She didn't play that, right? So in Baltimore, you ain't, you didn't eyeball people. Like when you walk by, you may glance, but you kept it moving and so forth. You ain't standing nobody's face because that meant it's a problem.
That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So when I left, that was my mentality. I knew of Southern ways, however, I really didn't practice them. Just being only with my grandmother because she made me and my family over there, they made me, right? So when I left, here I am, you know, pretty much, a hood rat type chick. You know what I'm saying? And I I went overseas. I met all these different people, but then I kind of settled in the South. I went to Atlanta, and then it was Tennessee, and then here, right? And I have adapted some of the Southern ways, which is why I say I'm a Northern Southerner. Yeah, I can't stand it when somebody don't speak. I
Mm-hmm.
can't stand it when, like you said, people just jump into the conversation. Well, hello. Did I sleep with you last night? Can we say good morning? My God, right? So
Right.
I just love that. And then don't show up like my girlfriend. She had came over to do some recording for me and everything, and I wasn't like prepared. And she was like, I was like, no, no, no. I was like, I'm sorry, because you're supposed to have something to offer somebody.
Right.
It's a so I love the whole northern southern, northern southerner type of thing because I've picked up things, like I said, from different people and different countries, I guess, like I said, that I've been in and lived in. And I feel like this here Northern Southerner, yeah, I'm good, son. Because I'll sit up there. I may not want to be one of them bless your heart type people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I please know the Northern Southerner will strike.
Yeah, that point right there. Man. You know
Will
what?
strike.
We had went through some time already. Did we talk about fitness or anything?
Well, we were talking, like I said, we did.
Yeah,
I
we
put my
did.
my disclaimer, but we talked about the mindset because, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
we are gearing up for the brain health fair. So and just making sure that people understand that. If you want to take anything away from it, like you said, you can choose to have a bad day if you want. You can choose to be in a bad mood. You can choose to say, hey, I'm not happy. You can choose to do anything that you want to do. However, when you choose to change your mindset and apply a more positive mindset and positive spin
Yeah.
on situations, and I say that because I do feel like we're at a place in life, in the world, in the climate, that we need to make sure that we are still able to put a positive spin on things. It's real easy to get into your woe is me,
Right.
what didn't happen, what did happen, what you don't like. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
However, allow yourself to have your moment, as I said, but let's take a step back and go in a more positive spin. Because when you go in that positive spin and you choose to look at things differently, things change. Look at again how I started. When my client came in here, she may had an idea of what I was going to do, but she didn't know. But once she knew, she put and I especially mentioned that competition, she put a
Mm-hmm.
positive spin on it.
That's what I'm
And
talking
she
about.
came and killed it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So change your mindset, folks. If you're looking for some tools for your toolbox, come on out on Saturday to the Wanna Go Fit third annual Brain Health Fair. The whole point of the event, folks, is to answer questions you may have. So bring your questions. If you want to send in a question or so forth, do so. Info at Wanna Go Fit. I'll make sure the question get asked and posted. Um, if you are looking for a new therapist, if you are looking, we have again this time of the year. This time of the year is really high for suicide. So we
Yes.
have suicide prevention in the building. We're going to be in there making sure that, like you said, the resources that you need. I have my what I love it when it works. From my last event, right? The last event, the Fitness and Nutrition Expo, that we had in September, I introduced a guy, Juice Juice Life, and he's also Moss Life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the people who Laura from 10 TV, she said, from doing her interview with him and then, coming and, just kind of being in the mix or so forth, she had decided, and plus she decided to use some of his services, and she's drinking some of his juices on a regular basis, and she's down 13 pounds and feeling better,
Yeah.
So know that, knowing that that's what part and people have been attending some of the instructors classes that were there doing the fitness demos and so forth. So it works, guys. It works. My goal is just to give you some tools for your toolbox,
There you
because
go.
we all need to show up as the best version of ourselves. And sometimes you may not know how to make that person appear. So come on out Saturday at 302 East Ramsey at the Moed Center in San Antonio, Texas from 10 to 2 for the third annual Wanna Go Fit Brain Health Fair. Super excited. DJ Ron G going to be in the building, making sure that you can hear people. We're going to have Dr. Musa from the Healing Kingdom Institute. She's going to do a 10-minute chat. You can, and she's a neurologist, like I think 3 or 4 board certified.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Come on, pick her brain. She knows some stuff. You
Yes.
know, she knows some